Chapter 1124 of One Piece is a roller coaster of emotions and shows us the human and characters on each side. We start the chapter off with Big News Morgan and Vivi arguing about releasing the news of what had transpired at Egghead, King vs. Shanks, and Law vs. Blackbeard. Vivi, of course, is at the defense of Luffy, claiming he would never kill Vegapunk, because that's not who he is. We then go back to Egghead, and Sentomaru is very sorrowfully rowing away from Egghead, which makes sense because everything he endured there. Watching his uncle Kizaru kill Vegapunk, and it seems Kizaru lets him get away, not even chasing him, even though he could have. Akainu calls Kizaru to ask what is going on at Egghead. Everyone is out except Kizaru. Akainu calls him out for his poor performance, but Kizaru responds, asking Akainu if he ever had to kill his best friend. We then see a sad flashback of Kizaru and Vegapunk, and Kizaru's kill shot on Vegapunk. Kizaru then tells Akainu to come here himself while crying. Akainu shows some remorse for once, replying with, "Sorry, brother." We see Kizaru show emotion for the first time, and it seems he could have some type of redemption later on in the story since he's finally showing some emotion and looks to be over with it. I know a lot of people wanted Kizaru to betray the world government in the Egghead arc, but I think it was too soon. Also, the fact that Kizaru, seeing the power of the elders, he was most likely too scared to betray them and knew he wasn't strong enough to fight back. Also, I think Akainu showing some sort of emotion, even out of pity, raises the question of why this ordeal brought out emotion in him. Possibly, him and Dragon could have been best friends, and when they were both in the military, and Akainu felt betrayed by him, and his goal is to kill Dragon, his best friend. Though, I don't know if this is plausible, since in the Marineford arc, he almost ended Luffy with no remorse. Akainu must have had a terrible history with pirates to shape him into how he is now. When Kizaru is looking at Egghead, the scenery looks saddening. Everything's on fire, and it's just him, the only Marine that wasn't taken out by the Conqueror's Haki, looking at Egghead. It looks now that the Egghead incident is over, and the big event that changed the world was the Straw Hats' escape from the Five Elders. It looks like Kizaru is not going to be able to hide behind his sunglasses for too long. Akainu needs to come out of his office and start fighting, and it seems he's going to be motivated by the Egghead incident. Now we're back at the Sunny Ship, and the Straw Hats are talking about how Luffy's depressed since they couldn't save Vegapunk. But there's a plot twist coming around that. Frankie and Jinbei are surprised that they're able to get out of the insane ordeal of having the Five Elders, an Admiral, and a Buster Call called on them. Zoro is fed up with Luffy, poking fun at how he's a Yonko, but can't deal with the death of one old man he just met. A lot of fans were having a problem with how Zoro talked about Luffy. In the panel he said how disgraceful, that guy's an emperor now, and yet he can't even deal with the loss of one old man. Some people thought this was hinting towards Zoro's betrayal of Luffy, but I think that's completely wrong. I think he's just poking fun at Luffy, saying how strong he is physically, but mentally he's still a child. Please don't start a war in the comments over whether Zoro is going to stay with the Straw Hats or not. There's no mention of Bonnie and Kuma in this chapter at all, since almost everything takes place on the ELBAF ship. I wonder if Bonnie is going to be the final crew member of the Straw Hats, since she was only a pirate to find her father Kuma. And the fate of Kuma is still a question. Is he dead? Alive? Or even functional at this point? Since with his backstory it would make sense for that fight against Saturn to be his final stand, before he finally gets to rest in peace. Next, Lilith wakes up in the ELBAF ship. They begin to explain everything to her, but weirdly, she says she knows everything that happened. We can see she heard it through her earpiece. Who was telling her the intel, since she's the last Vegapunk? Then she covers it up when the Straw Hats ask where she heard it from by crying. Right away she's back to normal. We then go to Luffy eating while depressed, and this is when Lilith drops the massive plot twist. All the Vegapunks that died combined with her, so they really didn't fail saving Vegapunk. Chopper, Usopp, Luffy, Nami, Sanji, and Brook are shocked to hear this. It makes sense since they're able to split his personality into 6 people. They should reside in the one alive if they were to die. But this raises questions again of who Lilith was speaking to on her earpiece. It will likely be revealed down the road in the ELBAF arc. After hearing that news, Luffy's back to normal and begins celebrating with the Giants. Luffy calls Zoro over to party, and one of the Giants asks them who they think will become the king of the pirates, since in Vegapunk's speech he claimed whoever obtains the One Piece will steer the world. Luffy becomes annoyed by this for a second, asking, "What do you think me becoming a pirate was for?" Luffy then becomes excited and jumps yelling, it'll be him, even if he has to go up against all the Giants, or anyone. And the chapter ends with a major cliffhanger. We change the scenery to ELBAF and see a silhouette, a mysterious figure on the shore of ELBAF saying to himself, "Come," directed at the Straw Hat crew. Who could this be? Shanks? The man marked by flames? Or Saul? We know the redhead pirates left ELBAF, so it's likely not Shanks. But the theory of him having an evil twin brother raises an eyebrow. Could he be posing as Shanks and fool everybody in the Straw Hat crew into trusting him while working for the world government? It wouldn't make sense to have Saul in a silhouette, since we already know he's at ELBAF, and that isn't a mystery at all. We don't know if this mysterious figure will help the Straw Hats in some way, or as part of the world government. We'll have to see, since there's a break week once again next week, so we'll have to wait 2 weeks. But ELBAF is coming, and big things are sure to happen, including most likely the identity of Emu, since in the anime next week, the voice of Emu will be revealed, and we'll figure out whether Emu is a man or a woman. And it would be dumb for Oda to not reveal the identity of Emu before the anime does. It would ruin the point of having a manga before an anime, since the anime replicates the manga. Oda, please don't fail us and keep making peak chapters. And tune in to a couple of weeks where I cover chapter 1125 of One Piece.